He just walks into a room and it instantly lights it up.
He treats everybody as a friend. He sees everybody as a friend and not as a stranger.
Jesse's just a sweetheart. I mean, he's kind. He's just a gem to have around.
He's really fun. He's just an ordinary kid.
Jesse is, he's our son. He's the youngest of 3. He's been diagnosed with Rubinstein-Taybi syndrome, a genetic disorder, rare genetic disorder. However, that doesn't stop him from being a wonderful person.
He has had broken bones. His bones break very easily. So he's had 4 casts, many casts, but he's broken 4 bones already. Eye troubles, he's got glaucoma, extra tear ducts, a lot of ENT visits, lots of tubes in the ears, short stature, different gait when he walks. He has to wear special shoes because his ankles bow in. We tried the braces and that did not go over very well.
He just needs the individual attention. He needs someone to, cook for him and clean and help him with the bathroom and dress him and everything.
Well, his kids in his school adapted to him having a disability. I feel like the class that he grew up with was perfect for him. Nobody treated him differently. But I mean, out in public, yeah, people would give us looks, or like I said, we would go to places and they would talk to us and not talk to him.
He's nonverbal, so he has to use other ways of communicating with whoever he's meeting.
Came in off the bus and we had this little talking thing with him, and Beverly's like, "Jesse, would you like some fruit, for snack after school?" And he goes, "Cheeseburger." I said, "I love him."
We all communicate with our body and our behavior, and sometimes that isn't consistent with what comes out of our mouth.
He's telling you, when he's excited, he's telling you, "I would love to do this." And so it's changing people's thinking. Just because he doesn't have words, he's showing you and he's telling you.
They don't see the person themselves, they see the disability. Every disability is unique. Every one is different. You can't treat them all the same.
He was going into high school and they didn't know what to do for him. They didn't know what to do for him for community things. And I said, well, let's do what Jesse wants to do. What is he interested in?
We found out that he learned better in the classroom. We'll use what we know works for Jesse and go with that. Taking him out, putting him in special ed, that may work very well for the school. It doesn't work well for Jesse.
Every day, every month, when school starts, it was the same thing. It's having to retrain the people to think of him as an individual, not one of those kids.
That's person-centered thinking. It's thinking about what helps a person be happy, content, satisfied, fulfilled, what makes a great day, what makes a great life for somebody. And that's what you got to do every day.
I can't see it any other way. Jesse's an individual. You have to treat him as an individual. You have to fulfill his needs, his own needs.
It's what we take for granted every day. People don't want someone to come up and judge them. They want someone to come up and get to know you. And that's what person-centered thinking is. You have to be like a detective and find out what's causing this behavior.
It's important to let Jesse have his choices because it makes him feel more independent and more confident in himself.
Because without the person-centered thinking, you cannot have the planning. That's when I usually can tell someone's playing, when they're like, we're all into person-centered planning. And person-centered planning, they've not touched on the person-centered thinking.
Person-centered planning, that's a whole different thing. That's when we sit down with people and we really start to explore, what would you like your life to look like? And then how do we figure out together what those supports would look like?
If you don't get the whole inclusive part of inclusive education, inclusive communities, if you don't see how you can make it work for any individual, and I mean any individual, you can't wrap your head around it and make it work for one person.
But you've got to get a snapshot. It doesn't have to be perfect, but of that person and what their desires are. And you have a whole spectrum. You have those that can speak and let you know, then you have those that can barely move, and you got to find out.
Focus on who your client is. Focus on how can you better their life.
We've spent way too much time focusing on keeping people safe and not enough time focusing on keeping people happy.
It was always, let's try it for 30 days, and if it doesn't work, then we'll come back together and usually it just would fly. They have a neat package, and that's where they want you to fit because they worked really hard on this package and they want everybody in there. Well, person-centered thinking is like, no, we're opening the package up.
Yep, this is what's going on with this individual. This is a list of things we need to do. It doesn't work for Jesse, and it shouldn't work for anybody. It should be individualized, anybody.
So it's when we really start to explore what would you like your life to look like that great things can happen for people.
Most schools, when I went to school, kids that were special need kids, or you never saw them walking down the walking to graduation or anything like that. It was, I think it was a big change for the school. Of course, his classmates were, of course he's going to walk with us. He's part of the class here.
He did the practices and he went through over, we were there. They set up seats so we would be very close to him during the actual ceremony in case he needed anything. 10 minutes before it was time for the kids to walk up, the kids that were with him in his class, and I didn't really know, said, you guys can go sit down, we'll take care of Jesse, we're fine, we'll get him where he needs to go. And when they were calling the names, they said, please hold the applause, until the end, and they did all the one clap after each name.
And they always tell people, everybody don't make any noise and applaud at the very end.
But when they called Jesse's name, the kids all started clapping and cheering and just erupted.
Jesse Oftsie.
He smiled so big and went running up the ramp to get up on stage and get his diploma. And then they all stood up, and then the whole auditorium started clapping.
It's a day that I don't think any of us will ever forget.
And he was just so proud of himself, and these kids were just awesome.
It was like inclusion at its best. Jesse is a pioneer. He's leading the way of how it should be done.
Well, right now he just started school at a new place. He's starting to be more independent than he was in the high school.
He has been doing things now that he's never done before.
Those things that make us happy, content, satisfied, and fulfilled, those are the things that make us unique. They're the things that make you different than me. And it's really starting to say everybody gets this in their life.
He remembers these little details about people and about things around him. And I think that's what makes him so popular with other people, because he remembers.
But yes, he's just resilient and he's full of love.
He makes people happy.
He gets excited about everything. He's just happy all the time.
This is such an exciting time for Minnesota. I'm so excited that we're really starting to pay attention. We're not saying this is the best we got for you. What we're saying is, what would it take to create what would be best for you? And that's exciting.
He just has a positive outlook on life, and I don't think he knows any differently.